This type of buttonhole is worked on a faced band. Each buttonhole has two sides to it. The public side will appear on the outside of a garment, and the private or facing side is on the inside. Since the buttonhole is horizontal to the knitting, initially each side of the buttonhole is knit separately with waste yarn. Here's how. When you get to the row where the buttonhole should be placed, pull out the needles on both the public and private sides of the band that are reserved for the buttonhole. In this case, there are 3 needles for each half, and they are centered on both sides of the band. With a 15-inch piece of contrasting colored waste yarn, knit the first set with one end of the waste yarn, leave a loop in the middle, and then knit the second set with the other end. Put a clip on the 2 yarn tails and a loop to secure the waste yarn when the knitting continues. Whether the band is knit separately or is knit along with the front of the sweater, the 2 sides of each buttonhole are joined once the knitting is off the machine during finishing. And that's when the fun begins. When you knit in this row of waste yarn or ravel cord, whichever you used, we knit 3 stitches. But on the top of the buttonhole, you'll see that it's 2 full stitches and a half stitch here and a half stitch there. On the bottom of the buttonhole, it's 3 full stitches. And the same thing over on this side. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish this buttonhole right on the machine. Now I'm going to be folding it like this eventually. Okay, I want the fold to be on this side, on the right side. And there's a reason for that. Okay, so now I'm going to bring out a few needles and open the latches. On the top of the buttonhole, I'm going to pick up the end stitch that is touched by the waste yarn and hang it. Then I'm going to hang the next 2 middle ones, and then the one on this end, the half stitch that is touched by the waste yarn. In addition to that, I'm going to pick up the next stitch on this end, and I'm going to come back over here and pick up the next stitch on this side. That was easy, wasn't it? Then I'm going to fold my button band over, and I'm going to find the 3 stitches that are touched by, or the 3 stitches, which are actually 4 stitches because it's 2 here and 1 extra one on each end. So this is the first one. Now it's going on the second needle because the end needle is for the extra stitch. Here's the second one, third one, and fourth one. Pick up 1 extra on this end, so I want to get the whole stitch, 1 extra on this end, and 1 extra on this end. And that's not the right stitch, is it? That's not it. It's right in between those 2. There, right there. Okay? Push it back. Pull down your feeder yarn. Pull this back to close those latches, and we're going to manually knit them off. Once that's done, pull them out. I'm going to take off some slack on this so I don't have to keep struggling with it. And I'm simply going to latch these off. So I'm going to pick up that first one, get it behind the latch on my latch tool, pick up the second one, pull it through. Pick up the third one, pop it off, and pull it through. Now, if you prefer to latch from left to right, then what you have to do is you have to start with the fold on the left. and do the same thing just in reverse. I'm going to pull that loop up generously so I keep it reserved. But before I do anything else, I'm going to put my finger in to find that little hole right there. And this end, I'm tucking through. So I found the little end there, and I'm tucking that end through. Then I'm turning my work so I can see the bottom half of the buttonhole. Now here's the end over here, and here's my loop over here. This time the loop goes on the right. And I'm going to just let that hang there for a minute. And I am going to go find my 3 stitches that are touched by the bottom of the buttonhole, by the waste yarn on the bottom of the buttonhole. So there's 2, and there's 3. There's 3 whole ones, so that's it. But in addition to that, I'm going to pick up the next stitch and hang it on the outside needle, just like before. And on this side, I'm going to do the same thing and pick up the next stitch and hang it on another needle. Okay? The other thing that I might do, well, I'll do that in a minute. Now, I'm going to go to the bottom of the buttonhole. And I'm going to pick up the 3 stitches, but those are the center ones. So 1, 2, and 3. Then 1 more beyond it, right here. No, not right there. Right there. Yeah, that'll work. And on this side, I'm going to pick up 1 extra stitch. And I'm going to push these back. In addition, this loop here, I'm going to make it smaller, and I'm going to hang it on the next needle just to keep it for safekeeping. I don't want to lose it. Okay? Because that's what I start my latching with. Then, as you can see, I pulled up the tension on it, and I'm going to lay my yarn across the needles. Now, I still have this loop here, but I'm going to close the latches around the yarn first. Then I'm going to pull it up, and I'm going to snug that guy up, that latch loop. And I'm going to just knit off these needles. I didn't knit this one off because what I do with that one is I start my latching. So I just popped it off. I just held it, and that just allowed it to be the right tension. Now I'm going to go in each one of these and latch them off. Okay, so I just latched them off. I'm going to pull that loop up again, big again, but I can cut my yarn so I can look around at this a little bit more. So there's my loop, there's my feeder yarn, and there's my other loop. Now, before I do anything, before I knot this at all, I'm going to inspect my work, because you could actually pick up the wrong loop by accident. Now, if you can see, I can feel through it, and I have a perfect buttonhole yet again. So now I can turn it back to where I was, and that yarn end that I tucked through that little hole, that is the one that goes up through the feeder yarn loop. And then I pull up on the feeder yarn. Now that didn't make a complete knot, but we're going to make a finishing knot. We're going to cross over wrap this one twice. Bring it up and knot it one more time with one wrap. Then you can just trim it. I trim it to about an inch, 3/4 of an inch, and then I can turn my buttonhole back if I want. So I have a buttonhole, but I didn't take out the yarn. And that's why we leave this loop in when we do the buttonholes to begin with. So just pull it. Pull that loop and another perfect buttonhole. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please take a moment to subscribe and ring the bell to receive notifications of upcoming videos and events. Happy machine knitting!